To all those people watching, I would like to remind everyone that this video is not made strictly for kids. It is for older fans and adults too. Enjoy the fucking video! This video is brought to you by my loyal patrons. Register now at any tier to watch new videos 1 month in advance before they're made public. Link is in the description. Imagine this. It's February 2005, and you know it's the 60th anniversary of the Railway series when the VHS and DVD entitled PP Parade 3 Cheers for Thomas had a pamphlet inside the case talking about a 60th anniversary party that will be held in 4 months on Saturday, June 4th at Hatfield House in Hertfordshire, with the promise of meeting Thomas the Tank Engine along with the Fat Controller. You waited 4 months with your parents booking tickets to the event, and when the big day had finally come, you were met with a disaster. This had never happened to me as I'm from Australia and wouldn't be making my first trip to the UK until 2012. But I had heard of this event from, vaguely speaking, the Soda Island fan site, and remember being a bit bewildered by the criticism of the event. Why was this event a disaster? Well, here is an email that was sent by a disgruntled parent to the Soda Island fan site on the day of the party back in 2005. To see the whole thing yourself, link is in the description. I have just returned from Hatfield House Thomas's 60th anniversary celebrations and wish I had never been. As you know, the event was tickets only and a sellout. The email we received gave details of the attractions there. 3 shows at 11 AM, 1 PM and 3 PM, and lots of other things to see and do. Face painters, fairground rides, Punch and Judy, marquees, etc. And of course Thomas and his friends. Also in bold print was that the program of events would be repeated throughout the day, so there would be no rush to get there for 10 AM when the gates opened. We set off in good time at 10:30, allowing for the normal 45-minute journey to take a bit longer and to arrive at 11:30ish. 3 hours later, we finally struggled in. No accidents were holding us up, just the sheer weight of traffic all trying to get to Hatfield House. Okay, so after pacifying our grumpy child by promising her all the fun things she would see, oh boy was she disappointed. After struggling to park at an unmarked field full of bumps, not easy to drag a pushchair, child and picnic across, we arrived at a fenced-off field containing the event. We were given no map or directions upon entering, and no one even asked for our tickets, so left to our own devices we followed the crowds. The queues for everything were at least 1 hour. Thomas turned out to be no more than a cardboard cutout on the small stage, and the show lasted no more than 10 minutes. The nearest we got to Thomas was someone else's helium balloon. My main gripe is if they knew how many tickets were sold, then how come it was so badly organised and there was so little to do? And the disappointment was not exclusive to this parent. Pretty much all of the attendees there were disappointed by the whole event as showcased through this BBC article from Simon Oxley 2 days after the event, and it shared some details about it as well. According to Simon, some marquees had been set up. The first one, which was the largest, was for VIPs, but it was hardly in use. The second marquee was to have your picture taken with a picture of Thomas. I'm not kidding. And sadly, there aren't many pictures to showcase what was detailed in the article, but imagine being promised to meet Thomas and all you got to meet is a picture of him. The third marquee was a collection of cushions with a large flat-screen TV playing Thomas DVDs, and the fourth and final marquee housed Thomas merchandise, but it's pretty much things that you could find in various shops at the time. And the worst part for that marquee in particular is that it was near the stage for the 10-minute show, making it difficult to get in or out when the show is on. According to Simon's article, people seemed to be buying up the toys to make up for the disappointment due to the lack of Thomas. There were even massive lines for a Thomas the Tank Engine balloon that would only cost £5, which is £8 in today's money. There was even a fairground, but hardly anything Thomas related except for the marquees and the 10-minute stage show. Now of course Simon's article had mentioned that there was no Thomas the Tank Engine anywhere around the venue, but as mentioned earlier by the disgruntled parent, Thomas was there, but it was this. This was the only way to see Thomas. The show, in my opinion from looking at this picture, is pathetic, especially for an event that was to celebrate 60 years of a tank engine and his friends, entertaining generations of children. Sadly, no footage of the event exists, and to be honest, I don't think I need to see it because of the whole outcome of the event. Hit Entertainment, the company that bought out Galen Entertainment in 2002 for the Tomas rights, had set up a special email and telephone service and would soon, according to two commentators on the BBC article, be given compensation refunds and a complimentary DVD, which is a bare-bones version of Tales from the Tracks, which would be released in the UK and Ireland in March 2006. Sadly, we can't turn back time, but if I were put into the position of what the event should be like, I would at least try and have the Tomas prop from the big live tour show on display, similar to how it was done at Buckingham Palace, London in 2006 for Her Late Royal Highness's 80th birthday, which was to celebrate children's literature. It could have been possible, but since this event was held in June, and the live tour was to be held in Japan in July at Fuji Television's head office for a 2-month show, it would have likely been shipped over to Japan in readiness. But if the Japanese tour wasn't happening, it would have been miles better to have that prop there for photographic opportunities than whatever Hit Entertainment was thinking at the time. For the carnival, you could at least try and make it Tomas themed with games and some rides based on the characters from the show. Sure, it would be costly to make them for a one-day event, but I think for the long run you could hire out the carnival stuff to Heritage Railways that had held Tomas events at the time, before eventually retiring them from service or give them a permanent home at the Thomasland theme park at Drayton Manor in 2008. However, despite the disastrous anniversary party, the 60th anniversary year as a whole had some success with its products. Hornby had gone all out with the release of 4 model locomotives such as Oliver, Stepney, Flying Scotsman and Bear, with various rolling stock that were common during the 8th season, including Toad, an old slow coach, as well as Bertie the Bus, which was exclusive to the Thomas and Bertie set in 1988. And that was not all. Hornby had even gone out with various buildings including Maithwaite Station. They even have some new sets such as the Percy Circus set and the Thomas and Bill set, along with a reissue of their James set that was previously released in 1988. Although Thomas Wickier stated that Oliver and Stepney came out in 2005, I clearly remember getting Oliver for Christmas 2004. Very likely Australia got it as intended, while the UK's release was delayed. Some artworks of Thomas, Gordon, Henry, James, Percy and Spencer, made by the late American artist Paul Melia, were on sale that year as well. There were some home videos as well in the respective countries, particularly America, which had 3 DVDs to coincide with the anniversary, so they could release free toy versions of Thomas, Percy and Diesel, with each tape from the wooden railway line. There was a gold Thomas that came with Thomas's Sodor celebrations, silver Percy with songs for the station, and bronze Diesel for calling all engines. Over in the UK, the second DVD that came out after PP Parade was Bumper Party Collection, containing 8 episodes from the show's 6th season and 4 from the 7th season, albeit the episodes from season 7 were redubbed with Robert Hartshorn and Ed Welch's music.
It was the end of a busy day. The engines had been working hard. They were pleased and proud. Except Henry. He was feeling ill.
Over in Australia, the only new content outside of Calling All Engines we got at the time was the PP Parade VHS and DVD, which was the last Thomas VHS tape to be released in the country, and after that we got the DVD version of Truckloads of Fun that was previously released 4 years prior on VHS. A box set was released by Roadshow Entertainment for the 60th, but it was filled with DVDs that were previously released between 2003 to 2005, most likely made so ABC could clear out its unsold stock of Thomas DVDs. But like the US, both the UK and Australia received Calling All Engines later that year. Probably the dominant toy line during the anniversary year was Wooden Railway, which even went as far as honouring the 3 railway engines, with Henry having some blue around his green paint, as shown in the final page of the story Edward Gordon Henry. Speaking of the first book, the 2005 annual that was released in the UK had even acknowledged it as well, along with the Railway series as a whole. Of course, Calling All Engines was released to coincide with the anniversary as well, and it too had a load of merchandising ranging from books and video games to the standard toy lines. Over in Japan, there had also been an exhibition showcasing illustrations of the Railway series, and as mentioned earlier, the big live tour being showcased during Fuji TV's King of Adventure and Dolbia summer event at their headquarters. Even 15 of the 26 Railway series books were released as well, and their covers were in the style of the horrible late 90s format of the Railway series books that were disproved by Christopher Awdry, but thankfully the pictures inside the books remained all as one. However, despite it being the Diamond Jubilee, the Western world sadly received no publication of the individual books, but we were at least given a complete collection book and a reprint of Thomas and his Friends story collection instead, with stories by the Reverend W. Awdry. But the individual set of books written by both Awdrys wouldn't be republished in the UK until 2007 in celebration of the 41st volume Thomas and Victoria by Christopher Awdry. Speaking of Japan, even they had some merchandise to coincide with the anniversary, such as this metallic Thomas pack set with very beautiful packaging, and even this promotional variant with bunting on the side of Thomas's tank, likely based on this promo image at the time. There was even a metallic variant of Thomas in the Tomica line. They had also released the steamed Thomas toy that year as well, although it wasn't marketed as a 60th anniversary item unlike the West. Japan Post had even released a set of stamps as well. Even a documentary was made called Run! Thomas and Friends, the Steam Locomotive is Alive, as part of the Discovery of the World's Mystery series on TBS, a network that had never had any history of broadcasting Thomas. You can find the documentary on YouTube, link in the description.
トーマスが来ました。すごい、本当に顔がついてます。おお、すごい。お、ちゃんと番号1番もついてます。
Although Japan wouldn't get Calling All Engines until 2008, Fuji Television distributed 6 volumes of VHS and DVDs of the 7th season during the summer of that year, with a UK dub as a bonus feature on the DVDs alone. The 6th volume would be the last VHS tape released in Japan, ending its 14-year run as it was phased out in favour of DVDs. So despite the poor outcome of the Hatfield House party, the 60th anniversary still went ahead swimmingly. Thomas the Tank Engine would eventually return to Hatfield House in 2014 as part of the Lollipop Festival, which was held in August that year. Lollipop Festival was a large-scale children's event with various activities and shows, and Thomas was given its own section with it being set as a Sodor summer fete. Looking at the various blog sites when researching for the video, it seems to have a much better response from parents than what the 2005 celebrations had, especially that the 2014 event showcased a model statue of Thomas for photo opportunities instead of a picture of the tank engine himself. It seems that the lesson might have been learned from the disastrous anniversary party.